evening, ladies and gentlemen. What a beautiful answer. Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have you seen such a beautiful place? Ever? I haven't. Believe me, I have not. I did one marriage ceremony here, and that was almost 20 years ago. Since then, this is the second time. But that time was in the winter, first of all, and we didn't have a chance to see the views. But this time, while I was coming here, it's heaven here, really. It's beautiful heaven. Did you choose the place or you? You did? All right. All right. Very good. Ron, this is the best place on earth. Wonderful. This is love, Vicki. I'm going to call you Vicki. Is that okay? Very good. All right. I know that some of you already been in some Persian tradition of marriage. Of course, the one that I did. How many people? Hands up. And at least I saw quite a few. Anyhow, Persian marriage ceremony is a different version of Islamic ceremony. It means although Persians are Muslims, but they kept the tradition of the marriage which was existed long, long before the history, maybe about 7,000 years ago. Many people say between 7,000 to 10,000 years. Therefore, it's very educational, it's very different. We have a sitting in front of the bride and groom, that this sitting goes back to the time that there was not any divine religion. Let's say we didn't have Abraham, we didn't have Moses, we didn't have Jesus, we didn't have Muhammad. Those days, Iranian, when they came to the Iranian plateau, combined with the local and native people of Iran, they established the new civilizations by the name of Persian civilization. In those days, well, one of the first things that they want to do is a marriage, and how that marriage should be. Well, if we say, okay, now you are husband and wife, it doesn't look good. And if I sit next to each other and then we say you are husband and wife, it still is not really elegant. So what should we do? They thought that the first thing we have to put something in front of the bride and groom. And now what should we put there? They came with this, of course these are mythology. They came with this idea that we have to put the most important element of life. And what are the most important elements of life? Water, air, light or fire, and dust or earth. So these were the four elements of life that they put in front of the bride and groom. Then they said, okay, do we need a fruit? What would be that fruit? They came with the idea that there was a mythology of Adam and Eve. Of course, later that became very strong idea. We don't know who originated the idea of Adam and Eve. And they came to the heaven first. God created Adam and he was alone. And he was crying of loneliness. Even Holy Quran mentioned that way. And Adam said, what kind of heaven is this? Without a companion. Just me and a lot of fruits. That doesn't look good, really. So, according to Quran, he was crying and asking Almighty, I'm dying of loneliness. Please, please, I need a companion. After he became ready, then, and after then, God created Eve, or Hawa, but from Adam's body and from Adam's soul. And of course, they become one because they were one from the same essence. But we have a story that after a while, God said, okay, you have all the fruits except one. Christianity says that one forbidden fruit was what? Apple. Persians say it was pomegranate, and we do have a pomegranate. Look at this, how beautiful it is. Pomegranate. This is the forbidden fruit. As you see, it has hundreds, maybe about 500 seeds, but it has about 6 segments. Each segment are separate and wrapped, but at the same time they hold the unity. That's the symbol of uniting two people into one. You could be independent, you have your identity, but at the same time you are one family. That's the reason that we have the Persian pomegranate, and we call it anar. It's a beautiful name. By the way, somebody called me by the name of Anar from Turkey, and she's going to get married in the near future. She might be delighted when I tell her this story. We don't have Anar name for women in Iran, but we do have a lot of Maryam, which is the name of Mary. But for those Christians, we have a lot of Christians, do we? Okay. Where are the mother of the groom and the mother of the bride? Stand up. All right. Mrs. Manger. به افتخار مرکز محکم. Well, the women are very, very important. And in Islam, in Holy Quran, rather than talking about Jesus, 25 times they talk about Mary. And then 25 times about Jesus. It's strange. I did a research on this. You can do it yourself. 25 times about Mary. Why? Mary has to establish the holiness, to bring a holy, to have a miracle child by the name of Jesus. So we have to prove through the Mary first, then concentrate on Jesus. That's the importance of Mary in our religion. Anyhow, but go back to the Persian mythology and many other religions, that the old religion, Adam and Eve was forbidden to touch this fruit, but Eve always are curious. And she said that, why God wants us not to touch this? Let's go and touch it. And after that she said, let's go and taste it. And they did. But God knew all this. All this came was something that he knew, but he wanted that it happens. Then God says, okay, you have to leave the heaven and go to another planet, but only Eve, not Adam. But Adam said, I don't want to be here lonely again. I want to follow where she goes. Wherever she goes, I follow her. And that's why that Adam followed her and sold out the whole heaven. And that comes in Persian poetry very well, especially in Hafiz. It's explained about this. Very nice. Anyhow, among other things that we have the shell nuts. That's the symbol of family tree because it has very strong roots. And it's not perishable very quickly. We have a few eggs. The egg that they put usually the mother in your basket, it means that they want this many grandchildren. They choose big eggs. that means athletic son. All right. So among other things that we have some candies, pastries, and we have some vegetables, herbs, and some bread, and some cheese. That's a symbol of your food. Don't look for lavish food. Especially in those days, they didn't know that lavish food is not good. But now, in those days, our ancestors told us that happiness is not lavish food. It's not important what kind of food you eat. Have a lot of flowers, have a lot of beauty, and delightness, and light. This is what they said. And of course, nowadays we found that this is really a good food. And maybe it's the best to have some herbs, a little cheese, and some walnuts. This is the kind of food that the ancestors recommended us that everybody can afford for a vegetarian. Anyhow, but I know that you have a superb, super duper supper later. Okay. But this is the food that our ancestors recommended. The ceremony itself is going to be in 3 segments. At the end of each segment, I ask the bride only, not the groom. So Ron stays silent the whole ceremony. But Vicki, for the first time, when I ask you to stay silent, then I try to persuade you for the second time you stay silent. And this 2 times is going to be in Farsi. But remember, I'm talking about love and nothing else, about affection, love, and God and destiny, and the way that they do it. And at the end of the 3rd time, which is going to be in English, I asked you for the last time, you may say yes. And if you said yes, then and only then I ask Rod, and Rod immediately say yes. And then I ask each of you to repeat after me. You repeat the vows after me, then you become husband and wife. Then I would like to ask both mother to come forward and present the ring to you. Do we have ring here? Very good. Where is the other mom? Don't go anywhere at the end of the 3rd time. I need both mother to come forward and present the ring. You exchange rings. After that, the last part, we need 2 younger generations. Have you chosen 2 younger? To hold the honey. Remember the honey, the Persian honey originated thousands of years ago, the honeymoon. And now honeymoon version. So, and then you're going to toast honey. It means you're going to put your right hand finger into the honey, then into the honey, put in each other's mouth, not into your mouth. In each other's mouth, it means that I'm going to sweet your life like the honey bees. And that would be the end of the ceremony. I'm going to start my first segment in Farsi. By the way, we have the most beautiful women here. The younger, the taller, the best, friends of the bride and groom. But remember, do we have any Jewish here? Hands up in Jewish. This is very similar to the Jewish tradition that they have 4 sticks in 4 corners. We have 4 spirits in 4 corners. It means that these spirits, this spiritual powers, friends, with a lot of love and affection for you, are going to be the pillars of your palace in future. And anytime you need somebody in future to talk to, remember these ladies. And don't go to attorney. Okay. If you have attorneys here right now, they're going to be against me. به نام خدای بزرگ، خداوند آفریننده زیبایی و عشق. همون حرفایی که زدم یک آیه قرآن که به این مسئله نزدیک بود، این آیه است. یا ایها الناس اتقوا ربکم الذی خلقکم من نفس واحده و خلق منها زوجها و بث منها رجالا کثیرا. زندگی شگفت‌انگیز است و یکی از شگفتی‌های بزرگ خلقت چگونه آشنا شدن و چگونه عاشق شدن است. مرحله از زندگی که به ناگاه 2 انسان با هم آشنا می شوند. یعنی اینجا کی؟ راد و ویکی. It's all incidents. By one incident, this is one of the surprises of life, that 2 strangers meet somewhere, somehow, and then they become in love. And that happened about 4 years ago, almost. All right. Almighty says that this is one of surprising incidents which I have some role to play. Don't take all granted that this is your role. You decided, you chose. The first time that you went, it was enough that you want to be, or go later, or sooner, or not to be there. But you were there, and you met. Therefore, this is one of the surprising of life. و او برای تو مهم می شود و تو برای او مهم میشه. این یکی از بزرگترین نشانه‌های عشق است. From the moment that you feel that this is the most important person in my life, that means that you are in love. You decided that, well, I'm going to have the rest of my life with this guy, with this beautiful woman. That is the time that you are in love. And we don't know, many people say, what is love? Love is that moment that you decided. آن را باور کن و با آن شک نکن و آن را گرامی بدار. از آن دست مکش که به مقام مهم نایل شدی، زیرا عاشق شدی. اکنون عاشق بمان. بگذار خاصیت تو عشق باشد، نه رابطه تو. برای تداوم عشق گذشت لازم است، زلالی و بیغشی لازم است. زلال باش و مهم نیست که در کجا باشی، در جامی بلورین یا در برکه‌ای یا در اقیانوس. مهم زلالی و پاکیست. برای کدر نشدن و همیشه زلال ماندن خوب باش، خوب مطلق باش، بی انتظار پاداش و بی انتظار برگشت. پیوسته مهربان باش، مهر بیافرین و مهر بورز. بقیه مسائل زندگی کوچکتر است، آنند که در زندگی تو رخنه ایجاد کنند. You got the gift from God. You become in love. Now you have a duty. You have to remain in love. How you can remain in love? By purity. Like water. Clean, pure, beauty. When you are clean, when you are pure, it doesn't matter that you are in the ocean or you are in a jar. You are clean. You have to remain that way the rest of your life. That is love. That's what God wants from you. Purity. Absolute love without expectation. Just be together without expecting to receive. Always just give. Then, and only then, you are a lover. I want to ask our beautiful bride for the first time. Vicki, اجازه می‌فرمایید که با پذیرش کلیه شرایط تعیین شده در عقد، مهریه جد کلام الله مجید، یک شاخه نبات، یک حلقه انگشتری و 12 شاخه گل. This is very important. I'm going to translate it later. شما رو به ازدواج دائم و عقد همیشگی راد درآورد. من دیشب یک شعری سرودم که خیلی نوعه، اولین بار دارم می‌خونم. البته هفته گذشته همچه روزی در نیویورک لانگ آیلند یه عقد داشتم. بعضی از جملاتش یادم اومده بود ولی نخوندم برای که کامل نشد. و دنباله این آیه است که میگوید و من آیاته خلق السماوات و الارض و اختلف السنتکم و الوانکم ان فی ذلک لآیات للعالمین. God created us different. This is His miracle that you're different. We shouldn't be exactly the same. Then God just making a copy, but He does not. This is the moment that many of us, we don't see this moment very often. Thank you. And this is the only moment that it has to remain. Remain where? In your heart. My friend says that From now on, you are a guest in my heart, and I am a guest in yours. I have my heart the house of your picture, and your heart the house of my picture. We are going to remain the rest of our lives in each other's heart. I'm going to ask our good Brian for the second time. Vicky, اجازه می‌فرمایید با پذیرش کلیه شرایط تعیین شده در عقد شما را به ازدواج دائم و عقد همیشگی ران درآورم. In the name of God, you see, God has a lot of attribution, a lot of names. But the most frequent verse in Holy Book, in Holy Quran, is this verse. In the name of God, the most merciful, the compassionate, and the most kind. That's the best name for God. We thank and praise Almighty God who put the seeds of love in your heart. And marriage is the continuation and fruition of that seed. You, Vicki, and Ron, you came from two completely different traditions, two different cultures, in a third country. Both of you from two different civilizations, in another civilization. Two old in a modern. All is the miracle of God. In the divine love, there is, by the way, Hafiz poem. در عشق بین دیگ و خرابان فرق نیست. هر جا که هست پرتو روی حبیب هست. In the divine love, there is no difference between this nationality, that nationality, this religion, and that faith, between Christian Montessori, a Sufi center, a Buddhist place, or an Islamic mosque. Where there is the face of the divine beloved. That's where you are worshiping somebody. I want to finish with this poem of Rumi. The minute I heard my first love story, I started looking for you and not knowing how blind that was. Lovers do not finally meet somewhere. They are in each other all along. They are in each other's all along. Now I would like to ask our different Brian for the last time and third time. Paloma, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. Just be there. Thank you. Now we have a condition and a term that the groom is going to present you a dozen of roses, unless you change to another flower. Every anniversary today. And Ron, you are going to buy Vicki a dozen of roses every anniversary today. Therefore, that's our terms and conditions. Now, have you come here, Vicki, free, with no reservation, to join this handsome man, Ron, as a wife?
Yes.
Ron, have you come here free without reservation to join Vicki as a husband?
Yes.
Very good. Now, you do repeat after me. In the name of God, the most merciful, the compassionate, and the most kind, and by his will, I, Vicki, offer myself in marriage. And take you, Rod. Look at him. Look at each other. to be my wedded husband. I sincerely and honestly pledge myself to be your loyal friend and faithful wife. From this day forward, I will remain unconditionally, emotionally, intellectually, spiritually, and culturally supported. I will honor your love
I will honor your love
selflessly
selflessly
the rest of my life.
the rest of my life.
Now, Ron, will you repeat after me? In the name of God,
name of God,
the most merciful,
most merciful,
the compassionate,
compassionate,
and the most kind,
and the most
and by His will,
by His will,
I, Ron,
I, Rod,
offer myself in marriage
offer myself in marriage,
and take you, Vicki,
take you, Vicki,
to be my wedded wife.
to be my wedded wife.
I sincerely and honestly
I sincerely and honestly
pledge myself
pledge myself
to be your supportive
to be your supporter,
and faithful husband.
faithful husband.
From this day forward,
From this day forward,
I will be with you
I will be with you
emotionally,
emotionally,
intellectually,
intellectually,
spiritually,
spiritually,
and culturally. And I will honor your love.
and
I will honor your love
I will honor your love
selflessly
selflessly
the rest of my life.
the rest of my life.
زبشت موکلتی ویکی موکلی راند على الصداق المعلوم و به تدریج موکلی راند هكذا. Now I would like to ask both mothers to come forward. All right, with the smaller ring, thank you. You give that to the groom. Just thank you. Be here. No, you hold it now. Now, Vicki, everybody want to follow the whole story. So put it right here, your hand, that everybody can see it, and right at Z at bottom, the bottom. Okay, now we can see it. All right, good. Don't forget to look to each other's eyes. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Now you receive this. Okay. All right. Thank you. Vicki, from the bottom of the ring that everybody can see it. Okay, thank you. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Thank you very much, Mom. Thank you, thank you. Two ladies, one on this side and one on the other side. All right, now. Now you make it to the right. Now, we want to document it that you did marry. We have you two sign and witnesses. We have 4 witnesses. Can I have warrior? All right. Print your name here and sign it. Sign it. Did you sign it? By the way, I wrote here about the flowers. All right, I want the parents of the bride and the parents of the groom to start the الان رضا رسولی